Hey there, it's Monday. Good morning, afternoon, depends what period it's in. We're rocking and rolling on here. We had a good warm up with some facts and some ratios. We're going to hit this video. We're going to utilize this today. Going to flip it a little bit. So let's get started here. So, all right, we got task one. Each grade is given a different number of points for each book read. All right, so we got sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. What do you notice that is different about these ratios? What do you notice that is different about these ratio tables? All right. Well, I noticed that they show different numbers of books, making it difficult to compare. So I just noticed that they are difficult to compare. And the reason is I got two books, 68. I can't compare these ratios. I got to get it down to one book. All right, and we're going to do that here in just a minute. Okay, how are the values in the book columns displayed? All right, well they count by different amounts and they have different starting values. So they're different starting values. Two books, three books, two books, 72. Again, same type of question. All right, number three, or letter C. It says, write a ratio to compare the number of books read to the number of points earned for each grade level. Okay, so here we go. All right, so sixth grade is what? 68 to 2, and you can write it either way you want, points to books. I'm going to simplify that down to one book. And to do that, I'm just going to grab my calculator, all right, and I'm going to take 68 and I'm going to divide it by 2 and I get 34, right? So it's 34 points for one book, seventh grade. I have 117 books for three points for three books, points and books, right? All right, so let's get this down to one. So I'm going to divide them both by one. I'm going to keep this equivalent, right? And that's in vital. So it's 117, and we're going to divide that by 3, what's left, all right? And we get 39. So 39 points per book, right? So let's do that with eighth grade. Eighth grade. Eighth grade is 72 points, 2 books. What's that going to one book? Well, half of 72 is 36, 36 points per book. Okay, so we broke those down, and this is what we would call a unit rate. How many points per book? When we have a unit rate, it's over 1. But essentially what we did was just simplify the fraction here, okay? All right, let's move down to the next piece. 2 additional grade levels decided to participate, but their results were incomplete. Each grade level used a constant ratio. Okay, use the information given in the table to complete. All right, which grade level earns the points the fastest? Okay, so we're going to work up, we're going to work down, and we can go from there. All right, so let's start with this one. So, there's a lot of different ways to do it. We can look at it. One of the ways that I like to do it when it's set up like this in obscure numbers, and I can't see to divide by 2 or divide by 3, is I'm going to start with the one that's filled in, okay? And when I do that, I'm going to take 168 and I'm going to divide that by 4, right? So my initial ratio is 1 to 42. Does that make sense? So when I took this to this, I got 42 to 1. Now I can scale it up from 1 easily. Times 3 times 3. Well, 42 times 3 is 126. Okay? Now I'm going to work backwards here to 42. I'm going to take this number and divide it by 42. So I'm going to take 294 and divide it by 42, and I end up with 7. All right, so this divided by 7 gives me this, or 42 divided by times 7 gives me this. 1 times 7 is 7. All right, This side's easy, right? This side's easy. 10 divided by 10 is 1, or 1 times 10 is 10. 42 times 10 is 420. So it's a lot of trial and error working forward and backwards. Let's go to ninth grade. Ninth grade here. Can't scale it up, so I'm going to take it down and get to a unit rate. One book, how many points? Well, 70 divided by 2 is 35. I know that mental math, right? And now we can scale up from wherever, right? Times 5, times 5. So grab that calculator and use it. 35 times 5 is 175. Okay? Now we have to work backwards. I'm going to divide 385 divided by 35 to see what's going on over on this side. So what is 385 divided by 35? And I get 11. So that means 35 times 11 is that. 1 times 11 is 11. The last one's not too bad. I know to get from 1 to 14, I multiply it by 14. 35 times 14 is 490. So we're working, we're multiplying, we're dividing, we're working forward, we're working backwards. But notice that I started and I got it to a unit rate per book. And that helped me scale up nicely, right? Okay, so they wanted to know which grade level earns points the fastest. Well, clearly, for every book, I see I can get that right from here. So fifth grade does. Fifth grade, certainly, because they're getting one book gets 42 points, right? 42 points. One book gets 35 points in ninth grade. So this is very helpful, very helpful. Okay. All right, I'll let you take that in for a second, and we're going to move on to the next page. All right, on the next page, let's go. We got students in groups 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. All right, we got to answer some questions. So, oops, you can't see that, can you? There you go. Determine the ratio of the number of minutes read to the number of points earned in each grade. All right, well, minutes read. Well, so 6th grade would be 10 to 2, which would go 5 to 1, right? Minutes to points. 7th grade is 15 to 3, right? And if I divide both of those by 3, I'm going to get 5 to 1. Minutes to points. Let's go to 8th grade. 8th grade is 25 to 5. I'm just using that top value, and I'm going to simplify that down and divide them both by 5, and I'm going to end up with 5 to 1. So guess what? They are all equal in this case. So we really have to break it down and get it to a unit rate. All right, and unit rate means the ratio is over 1 per unit. Okay? And how do we get there? We just simplified. We just simplified, right? No problems there. All right, let's continue on. Task 4. Good stuff here today. I love ratios because it's just trial and error and it's working it, right? All right, read each scenario below and use the information to complete the table. Edgar reads 78 books in 13 months. Okay, I see that there. So let's go ahead and label this first. This is going to be my number of books. And on the other side, excuse me, this is the number of months. I apologize. And this is the number of books. Books. All right? Now we just need to, now I've got it here, right? I've got this 1 there, so I know 13 divided by 13 is 1. Grab the calculator, and now let's crank it out. And actually, you probably should pause this and do this. So we're going to take 78 and divide it by 13, and I get 6, right? 6 times 4 is 24. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 times 7 is 42. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 10 is 10. 6 times 10 is 60. So now we attack the problem. Okay? Next one, letter B. In 6 minutes, Jocelyn read 15 pages. All right, let's go. So over here we have the number of minutes, and on the other side is the number of pages. Number of pages. Okay, so we have our initial ratio of 6 to 15. Okay, let's go. So what times 15 is 60? So let's fill these two in first. Okay, so, and I'm using my phone because it's a little bigger so you can see. So 75 divided by 15 is 5. 15 times 5 gives me that. 6 times 5 is 30. Okay, and we can do that again with 60 to find out this value. So if we take 60 and divide it by 15, we get 4. So 15 to get from here to here is times 4. 6 times 4 is 24. All right? Now, this one's blank. I could put anything in there I want. I'm just going to multiply it by 2 and get 12, and by 2 and get 30. So there we are. We filled out the ratio table. All righty. Let's continue on and talk about Woo. Woo reads 25 mysteries for every 20 science fiction books. So we have mystery, mysteries, I guess we'll say, and we have science fiction, CT, sorry. All right, let's go. We don't even need a calculator for this. We should be able to fill this in nicely. How am I getting from 20 to here? Times 5. So if I divide that by 5 and go up, I get 5. Once I have this initial value, it's nice. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay? This was times 3, so let's take this times 4 and get 20, and this times 4 and get 16. Okay? Working it. Last one. The library shelf contains 28 nonfiction books for every 80 fiction books. So this is non to fiction. The piece that I'm going to work off of it is right here because they're filled in on both sides. So this was divided by 4. 80 divided by 4. Well, I know 80 divided by 4 is 20. I know that from mental math. And now we start scaling up, correct? Times 2 times 2. 20 times 3 is 60. 7 times 3 is 21. So again, we're just trial and error, the knowledge of math facts. 7 times 5 is 35. 5 times 20 is 100. So, looking at all that, working forward and backwards. Your homework tonight is on this page. You need to complete this entire page, comparing ratio tables. Bam! Get that done. Con is due Friday. Have a great day, guys.